Yeah, we're so glad you're here. Oh, we're so glad to be together in unity. Well, you know, Mother's Day is a celebration of that mothering feminine energy, you know. And in our unity philosophy, the mother is not only our biological parent, but also a symbol of the divine, nurturing force in the universe, the creative, intuitive, and compassionate spirit that we call God, Goddess, all that is. So Mother's Day is a time to honor that sacred feminine presence within all beings, regardless of gender. And we want to recognize our mothers, our natural mothers. We're so appreciative for them. But we also recognize our spiritual mothers. How many have one of those in your life? Somebody that can just kind of tell you the truth every once in a while, you know? And just say, okay, this is what you need to do. Okay, all right. Well, we all need those, don't we? So we're encouraged to celebrate those who have mothered our souls, teachers, mentors, friends, anyone who has embodied unconditional love, wisdom, and care. Love defines motherhood in the greatest of sense. Our mothers deserve to be valued and appreciated. Even if your mother was not there for you, she gave you a very special gift. Do you know what that is? The gift of life. So today, we share our gratitude for this powerful gift that we all have. And then there are those, and maybe your mother has passed. And what is it that you miss about her?
So my mother passed last February after being several months in hospice. And when Mother's Day came, that was my first Mother's Day without her. And really all I was feeling at that time was just gratitude. Gratitude that the process was over, gratitude that she had graduated on. This year, there is definitely a different sense of missing her, and just, every day I'm thinking about what she brought to my life that I wasn't even aware of in the moment. So here are a couple of little thoughts about missing your mom. This first one is called The Last Voicemail. She used to call every evening just to ask if I had eaten. Sometimes I didn't answer, too busy, I'd tell myself. After she passed, I found a voicemail. Hi, sweetheart, just checking in. I hope you're warm and safe. Call me when you can. I miss your voice. I play it every now and then, not because I forgot her voice, but because I forgot how much I needed it. I know, take a breath. I feel that one. This one is called The Apron. We buried her in her favorite apron, stained with years of meals, laughter, and small burns. At the wake, people brought dishes that she had taught them to make. A niece held up a pie. She taught me this, she said, crying. She taught us all more than recipes, someone whispered. I took her apron home. It smells like cinnamon and her. And finally, the empty chair. On my wedding day, her chair sat empty in the front row. A white rose rested on it where her hands should have been. But when I walked down the aisle, I swear I felt her beside me, like wind in my veil, like warmth in my chest. She wasn't in the chair. She was in me. Yeah. Yeah. So for those of you who may have the loss of your mom being very close to you, just take today to breathe into the things that you remember and recognize that she's still with you.
All right, let's take a breath. Well, you know, a lot of people aren't aware of this, that we're going to be sharing this with you this morning. But did you know that in the scriptures, the canonized scriptures, the Bible, how many have heard of it? There are the mention of 3 mother goddesses. that are in the scriptures. Did you know that? And so we're going to be talking about that a little bit this morning and talk about the qualities and the attributes of this divine mother spirit that encompasses us and takes care of us. How many understand that when you walk out in nature, you can feel the presence of the mother spirit, right? That's nurturing and caring and reaching out and supporting. It's like the oxygen that surrounds your body, embracing you in every moment, the light that shines on you. That is just evidence of a divine, unconditional love. Isn't it wonderful? Yeah. So the first one is called soteria. Soteria. And soteria is whenever you see the word salvation in the Bible. In the Greek, it's the Greek word soteria. And soteria was the goddess of health, healing, wholeness, well-being, and safety. Isn't that interesting? She was the mother to the children of creation. All are children of God, and we all came from the one source, one force, right? Now in 1 Timothy 2:4, it says, who desires all beings to be saved and to come to the knowledge of the truth. Salvation, this word for save there is the soteria. Okay, soteria. And salvation is feminine. This word is feminine. It is that goddess, that nurturing, loving quality. We have to understand that a lot of the ancient scriptures were written at a time where things were very masculine oriented, right? And so it was all about the man. It was all about men. And so we've begun to see that there are women on this planet too. Right, men?
Yes.
And we realize that, how many know we need the balance of the masculine and the feminine, don't we, in the earth? We need the balancing. We need the masculine energy, and we need the feminine energy. But this morning we're just kind of focusing on the softer qualities that bring us back into that soteria, that wholeness, that well-being, that's place of being safe. You know, when you're a little baby and your mother's holding, you don't feel safe, and so your mother picks you up and holds you, you feel safe. You feel cared for, right? And that's what we're talking about. That's that aspect, that divine aspect that we all need in our lives. We all need somebody to hold on to us, to hug us and to be there for us and to nurture us and to be unconditional. Mm-hmm. We live in a world that's very critical and cynical and judgmental, right? And everybody's always wanting to judge and wanting to criticize and wanting to put somebody down and condemn others because you don't do it right. You don't look right. You're not what I think you should be. But how many understand that is not a divine quality? That is a block to that divine, mothering, loving, intuitive, compassionate nature that we call God. God is all that is, right?
So soteria represents the healing of the fragmented self and the restoration of divine wholeness. So let's affirm together. In soteria, I am whole, free, and safe. In soteria, I am whole, free, and safe. That feels good, doesn't it? So the second one is Charis, and that is the goddess of grace, or this idea of grace, the divine mother as grace. What's my favorite word? Grace. Why? Because I've experienced so much of it in my life. How about you? Yeah?
Yeah, you really needed it too. Just like
Yes, I
everybody
did.
else.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. You know, grace is the space and the room for us to grow in. It's that space that exists for us to make some mistakes and have it be corrected, right? Our life is like a laboratory. It's the laboratory space. And this idea of grace, unmerited favor, that we don't have to do anything to earn it. It's divine acceptance. It just is because it is. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to be good. I don't have to say the right prayers. I don't have to, none of that. It's just unmerited. It's just mine, present all the time, grace. I love that. I love that. Sometimes when I don't know how to pray for someone, they're going through really tough times and I'm just not sure, what is theirs to learn? What do they need to go through? My prayer is one of grace. May they experience a moment of grace in their life where they know things can be different, when they can see a way forward. I love grace. Yeah. So Ephesians 2:8 says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourselves, it is the gift of God."
That word charis is also, you think of charismatic or gift. It's your gift that you have. It's that gift. It's that grace that you've been given in your life. And we all have that charisma. We all are charismatic in our own way. We all have a gifting of grace that we can share. And did you know that Charis had 9 children?
I did not know that.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Oh, okay. 9 children. And what's interesting is when you read the Bible, and whenever it uses this word charis or charismata or charismatic, what it's comparing it to this idea of the number 9. It says that there are 9 fruit of the Spirit. Isn't that interesting? Because charis has 9 babies. 9 fruit of the Spirit. And it also talks about the 9 gifts of the Spirit. Isn't that neat? And so we see where all this kind of, all the mythological stuff that has come before us, there are universal principles in all of these things, and we can divine truth from these ideas. And we also know that how many months does a woman go through before she can give birth to a baby, Leah? Do you know?
It's 9 that feels like 15. 9 months.
Yeah. 9
so
months.
9 must represent the fullness
Yes.
of something, the fullness and the completion of something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you are fully aware of the fruit, the gifts that you have, then you are in a state of fullness and completion,
Yeah,
And that feels pretty good, doesn't it?
it does. So charis is the joyous, loving nature of the divine that gives freely and blesses unconditionally. Remember that. Blesses unconditionally. So let's affirm together, I live in the free flow of divine grace. I live in the free flow of divine grace. And feel that. Wonderful.
Yeah.
The third one
Yeah, you want to talk
is
about
one
it?
that you can, but we talk about this one probably more than the other two. Sophia. Wisdom, that's right. That's right, wisdom. I'm sorry?
What's her name?
Sophia. Sophia, yeah. So she is the divine mother of wisdom, and wisdom is that ability to see into the true nature of a thing, to have discernment, to have understanding. And that's not enough, because then you have to practice the application of those things that you have come to understand. What's our fifth principle in unity? It's not enough just to know the truth. We have to put it into action, right? It does us no good to have the book if we don't read it and actually do what the book tells us to do, right? So wisdom is this knowing of something, but then putting it into action. Knowledge is the ledge of knowing, but it's worthless without the wisdom and the experience to propel it forward into something. I can sit around and know everything, but if I don't actually put it into practice in my life, it's not going to do me much good, is it? All right.
You know, I can give a really good example. We raised 3 boys, and they were all just very, very clean and very good about picking up their rooms. Do you remember that, Leah? And so Mom would say, "Don't you know that you're supposed to clean your room?" They say, "Yes, Mom, I know." But they never, well, not never.
I was going to say, now, wait a minute. They did clean their room sometimes.
Yes, they did. Occasionally.
Sometimes.
So,
Oh, if I had it all to do over again.
so the wisdom is learning why it's important to clean your room, right? See, I've heard people say that cleaning your room is a good thing. But in me, I don't know why.
But it's not even the why. It's getting the why, and then it's the doing it.
Well, but I think it's like we noticed that as they got older and they got their own place, that they kept it really nice. Why was that? Because they saw the wisdom in it, right? If you kill the germs and the bacteria, you won't be as sick, you know. And you put your clothes away in drawers and closets and things. You know, you're more organized and life is a lot better. But that's why that a lot of folks, they have knowledge, but they don't have the wisdom.
Yeah.
Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
And it's very, you know, the word wisdom or the domain of the wise, right? You're in a different realm, a different space when you go from just knowledge to wisdom. And that's what we need to graduate to. And that's what this mother goddess, Sophia, is all about. She says, "Hey, come over here. Let me show you how to build your house. Let me show you where you need to put your pillars, where you need your foundation. Let me show you what you really need and how to bring it about." That is wisdom. Make sense?
Yeah, you know, in Proverbs 8, Sophia is mentioned as being with God before creation. Ooh. And was the master builder through whom the world was made. And you think about, who is it that births anything into being on this planet? It's the mother, it's the female,
Yeah.
right? It's the feminine births. So Sophia was present even before creation, and I'm
Right.
sure
Right.
was the birther, was the energy, the birther. I think that's
You know,
great.
we talk about the divine intelligence a lot, the divine mind, which is very important. But there's also the divine wisdom, right?
Yeah.
And so there is an intelligence inside your body that knows exactly how to make you breathe and to keep your heart beating, to make sure your kidneys are working,
Yep.
right? And has the wisdom. If you look in nature, you can see that things work, but you also, once you begin to see the wisdom of it, then you're initiated into a sacred secret, right? The secret of the universe is not just knowing why, but understanding how that love holds it all together Love holds it all together.
Yeah.
And that's what Mom teaches us. That's what the mother spirit energy teaches us. It's amazing how that mothers, it's like with Leah, you know, when the babies were born, she just knew things. And I watched her. She was just able to take care of the babies and, you know, and to, she knew what they needed. Well, I think he needs his diaper changed, you know, and I think that he needs some food. All right?
Yeah, I was well practiced in that.
Yeah.
The baby needs some food. So, Sophia,
You know what happened was, we started having these babies, and then it was like I was kind of put over here.
oh,
I know.
everybody get out your tiny little record players. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So Sophia is the inner teacher, the still small voice of caring and truth, that little inner nudging, right? That inner nudging. So let's affirm together, through Sophia, I walk in wisdom, clarity, and peace. Through Sophia, I walk in wisdom, clarity, and peace. Beautiful, beautiful. And Proverbs 8 says, does not wisdom, Sophia, call? The Lord created me at the beginning of his work. That's that scripture about being there before creation.
Yeah. Well, it took wisdom to create this whole thing, right? To put it all together. And so we can see, once you begin to discern it and see it, you know, your eyes really open. That's the begin. It says that humility is the beginning of wisdom. In other words, when you realize that you don't know it all, you enter into a state of receptivity and openness. That's true humility. All right?
Yeah, and that's approaching life with the beginner's approaching things with a beginner's mind.
Absolutely.
Always. You know, because how can your cup be filled with something new if it's already filled with all that you think you know? Right? So it's important to be emptying the cup out and always being in a space of, I'm ready to receive. I don't know what I don't know.
It's about
That kind of beginner.
seeing the world and ourselves without the distortion, without the distorting lens of the ego and fear.
Yeah.
Because most people see the world through the ego and fear. And they haven't really found that state of grace to where they can open themselves up to see that there's something beyond what they think. A lot of people think they have it all figured out. Anybody here like that? I've been there.
Don't raise your hand. Did you know that whatever happens, you're going to be okay? Whatever happens, you're going to be okay. We have grace. We have wisdom.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And we have wholeness. Wholeness.
And once you begin to see beyond the ego, you see that we're all part of a unified consciousness. Right? We're all part of the sea of humanity. How many know you live in the sea? You live in an ocean of consciousness. You and I, we're just kind of swimming around and bumping up against each other and just all joined together. Because if you were right now, if you could see into the spiritual world and see beyond these bodies, you would just see just oceans and waves of unconditional love and presence. That's what we really are. That's who you are. Right? So we emphasize that true wisdom is rooted in innocence. In innocence. Which is a state of being free from the judgment, attachment, and the illusions of the ego. It's about seeing the world as it truly is. Seeing it as it is. Seeing things as they are. See, that's true wisdom, right? But most people see the world through their own particular lens. If you've been raised to believe in fear very strongly, then you will see the world in that way, right?
Yeah.
But that's okay. How many know that your parents, they give you everything you need?
Being free from judgment and attachment is not an overnight happening, right?
Right.
It's a process. It's what we learn as we live into it.
Yeah.
Having that space of grace, So.
And that's where we have to forgive.
Yes, because wisdom ultimately leads us to forgiveness. It's intimately linked to forgiveness, both of other people and maybe even more importantly, of yourself. Because we are our own worst critics and punishers, right? We can sometimes hold ourselves to very unreasonable standards.
Yeah.
And so grace says, be gentle with yourself. Be gentle. So forgiveness is about recognizing that there was never a separation because of any wrongdoing. Just because you do something that you think you need forgiveness for does not separate you from the divine. And it really doesn't separate you from others because we are all in that spirit realm one. The Course in Miracles says that unforgiveness is a wall or a block that keeps us from love.
Yeah.
That keeps us from recognizing that we're all one together in spirit. So we're all part of the same divine substance and the same divine reality. And that's really a beautiful thing when you think about it.
Yeah.
If you really dig down into that and think about it.
That's why it's good to affirm this presence of divine love in the mother, right? Yeah. Working through the mother energy. So we give thanks for the love that gave me life, for the wisdom that guides me, and for the nurturing energy that lives in me now. I honor the Divine Mother in all creation. I appreciate the grace, the wisdom, and the lessons of well-being.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Did you know that human mothers are not perfect? There's no little instruction manual or instruction tag tied to the toe of the baby's foot when they're born, right? Mothers embody these divine qualities, but they also make mistakes.
Yeah.
And children learn our weaknesses as well as our positive traits. And believe it or not, because this is one of the things that I've had to make peace with in my life as a mother, we give our children the curriculum that they need to work on through their life. If you think back and you say, well, I screwed that up and I did that wrong, we gave them the curriculum that is theirs to navigate and work with in this time that they're here, right? So that they can learn about well-being and wholeness and grace and wisdom, right? How did you get to be so smart? You've lived a lifetime, right, of reaping those lessons of wholeness, wisdom, and grace.
Healing the mother wound. For those with strained or painful relationships with their mothers, it's like that Freudian slip, when you say one thing but you mean your mother. We invite healing through forgiveness, compassion, and spiritual understanding. Focus is not on denial, not being in denial of something, but on transforming pain into growth by recognizing the higher truth behind all experiences. No mother is perfect. No father is perfect. No human being is going to be perfect according to my definition of perfection. Let me tell you, it's important to loosen up your definition of perfection, right? Because that's where grace comes in. Because what you find out is that people who are hard on everybody else, it's because they're doubly hard on themselves. Right? And we need to give a little grace, a little mother grace, a little mother wisdom, a little mother care and nurturing. So ultimately, Mother's Day is a call to action, to be more compassionate, more gentle, more creative, to learn to mother others, to mother ourselves, to mother the earth, right? And so we're going to end with a couple more stories about mothers that link us to our need of the mothering qualities in our lives.
Yeah. And I want to quickly let you know that I have a page for you this morning back on that back table as you leave, if you'd like to pick up one, that recaps the 3 mother energies. And it has some practices on the back that you can use this week to help bring these energies into your life. So pick one of those up at the back table if you'd like to before you leave. So this is a letter from a little child. Dear Mommy, I saw you crying last night. I was awake, but I didn't know what to say. I don't like when you're sad. I wanted to crawl into your arms and tell you I love you 100 times. I know sometimes I make messes and I don't listen, but I think you're magic. When you kiss my forehead, my tummy aches go away. And when you smile, the whole world feels sunny. Please don't cry, Mommy. You're my everything. Love, your little one. From an adult child. Whew. Mom, I was too busy for so long. Work, life, deadlines. I told myself you'd always be there. But now I notice the way your hands tremble when you hold your tea, the way your stories repeat. I should have asked you more questions. I should have listened better. If I could go back, I'd sit at the kitchen table longer. I'd memorize every wrinkle in your face, every word of your advice. I still need you. I just didn't say it enough. Whew. With all my love, your grown-up child. That one hits home for me. Yeah. So our longings for mother at a deeper level really is the yearning for the divine mother, the divine feminine. So thank you to all the mothers for being who you are and for all that you do. And you didn't have to be perfect. We're just glad that you showed up. We celebrate you. We honor your hard work. Celebrate the rest of the day and know that you are loved beyond measure.
And just let yourself breathe gently and easily. Just let your breath come as it does naturally. Everything in life is given to us. It's all a gift. If we can only see it, life is a gift. The next breath is another gift, and another, and another, and another. So breathe in that grace. What do you need this morning? What's on your heart? You know, as we talk about mothers, I know that your mother has passed, but she's still here. She's still with you. You carry her in your voice, in your body. You carry her in your heart. Some, your mother might be living far away. Maybe you don't get to see her as much as you would like. Maybe your mother is going through some physical problems and medical situation. And so this morning, we just want to say, hi, Mom. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm thankful for all that you did give, all that you are, all that you were, and all that you mean to me today. Thank you, Mom. I invite you just to maybe hold a picture in your mind of your mother. Or at the very least, hold the energy of your mom. And just send your love. And say a prayer for your mother today. And so let's bring in all of our friends and family, our unity family, our neighbors, our nation, our world. And let us hold that sense and feeling of unconditional love and acceptance that every single one of us need. We all need someone to stand in our corner and to stick up for us, to care for us, to nurture us. And so today, we send out that love frequency into the world, that Mother Goddess love frequency of unconditional love, peace, reconciliation, healing of the separation. We all bought into that separation, believing that we're all separate. This one's better, that one's worse, this one's this, the other one's that. We all bought into it for a while, but now we're beginning to see that maybe that's not really true. There's a different way that we can see things clearly and truly, that we are truly all one, even as Jesus said, that we are all one. So we are grateful. We bless the earth that we walk upon. We bring the grace and the healing to this planet, to all the people, to all the creation. And we are grateful. So I invite you to just sit for just a moment in the stillness and in the quiet.